Hello, I'm back. Penny here with a bit of I don't know what it is, a bit of a discussion about downsizing the collection. And here is the collection. So this is the five of the six watches. This is the sixth one is the AP, which I have. I don't know how to get this in here. Let's see. Precariously shall I sit this on on the roll. Okay, there we go. Now I think you can see them all in the shot. Yeah, okay, you can see all six. So this is my collection, guys. No more watches than this. I mean, I do have two SKXs that I don't wear. I'm probably gonna give them to our nephews, and a Hamilton. But this is my collection as much as I have a collection, I think of this as the collection. 6 pieces. And sorry, I don't know what, it's early in the morning. Actually, it's not that early. This is the accurate time. I slept in. Oh my God, I was so tired. So I just woke up. So that's why my voice is probably a little bit raspy. But yeah, so what about downsizing this collection? If I downsize this collection to 2 watches, what should I do? What are the moves to make? Now, if you know anything about me, you know that I'm very averse to selling my watches, though I have done it to, pare down the collection a little. I'm just not, I don't think of myself as a flipper. I like to say I have the keeper's mentality. And so it is never my goal to sell watches for any reason. And actually, I'll make another video talking about where I'm headed with this collection. And that rule that I have of not wanting to sell the watches definitely does hold me back in terms of what I can realistically acquire, because this ends up being quite a bit of money. And, I don't have unlimited funds here. But a viewer, Frenin7, I think that's how you say it, Frenin7, asked the question, if I have to pare my collection down to 2 watches, what watches would I keep? So this is not my own desire to downsize to 2 watches. I have, watch addiction, watch collecting addiction, and I don't think I could keep it down to 2. I think I want to have a smaller collection, though I don't feel like 6 is too big at all. When I had the IWC and the Tudor, and I think it was before the AP, so I was at 7 watches. I did feel like 7 was a little, I don't know if it was 7, the number, or that 7 felt a little bit too big. But either way, 6 is fine. This 6 is really good. I rotate my watches once a week now. I went and got them out the bank. I jailbroke them for a moment because I'm going to make a couple of videos about each piece. And I wanted to answer that question from Frenin7. So let's get into it. I think we like to play with our watches. They're kind of toys. So whenever I have them all together, I like rearranging them and looking at them. And you can see that today I have them, this is how I stored them in the green Bosphorus watch roll. They have one that has all this writing and cool stuff on it, but I thought this was closer to the Rolex screen. So I went with this. And love Bosphorus still. I think all of mine have the same interior, except for we have a red one, a red and black one. And we have way too many of these Bosphorus watch rolls, but I like them. They're great and convenient for storing them sliding them into safety deposit boxes. They fit in, I would love to have a beautiful watch case, like watch storage box, but it just won't fit where we keep them. So this is my option, is going with the rolls. Anyhow, 2 watches, guys. If I could only keep 2. I have to answer that question since I have an even number of watches, I think I can answer that question by pairing them up. So what I would do, let's see, is make a few 2-piece collections. Well, 3 to be exact. I would take the 2 watches that I have had the least, this is real fingerprinty, that I have the least connection to, strangely enough. I don't know if it's strange or not, but these are the two watches that I think I'm least emotionally connected to at the moment. The my Submariner and my Royal Oak. And that's probably because I got them so recently. I got this one in January and I got this one in March. And also this is just so different. But now that I'm wearing it, I really am enjoying it. It took a little bit of time getting used to the size difference. You can see from the sport Rolexes, this is definitely a little bit smaller. But I'm really enjoying it. And so I would say this would be one collection and my one two-piece collection. And why would I say that? Well, because you have the Submariner, which is just classic Rolex, like especially without a date. Come on, this is the purest choice. Now, if I had the 41 millimeter Royal Oak, like the 15500, I think that would actually pair better with the Submariner date, with the Submariner without a date. But I don't have that. I have the 15450. And I would say this is a good two-piece collection because you have this as slightly dressier. It's still sporty, but come on, it's so shiny, so beautiful, and smaller. I would definitely wear this in dressy situations. And then you have this as your rugged brutalist. You know, this is the watch that you wear rumbling and tumbling with the dogs. I have been wearing this rumbling and tumbling with the dogs, much to my chagrin, because it is getting even more scratched up, which you cannot see, but I am getting some serious nastiness on nasty scratches all over this thing. I blame my wife for her scratches, but no, this is really easy to scratch. And so it is what it is. So I think that whatever, you would wear this in certain occasions and then you could wear this. So to me, this is also the kind of collection that is just so representative maybe of the brands, getting a Royal Oak from AP and a Submariner from Rolex. I think it's very blue chippy type of collection. So that is collection number one. I'm going to actually move these off of the watch roll because, you know, the Bosphorus is a very cool roll, but I really wish this was flatter. Some of the even more expensive rolls will lay down as like a working place, a working space, but this doesn't really fit that well. So I am going to move this out of the frame and then put the two-piece collections kind of like so. Okay, I think we like to play with our watches, and I think that we're just probably big kids at the end of the day, and I definitely see myself in that way. And there we go. So that's one two-piece collection that I would keep if I were downsizing. Okay, so the second choice of a two-piece collection is going to be these two watches, and they're conveniently right next to each other. So what do I think about these two? Well, these are kind of off the beaten path Rolexes. So you have your Milgauss and you have your Explorer 2. And I think of these two watches as a little bit of eclectic choices for Rolex. Let me get a sip of my black coffee, morning black coffee here. I think of these as eclectic choices in Rolex, not only because I know the Polar Explorer 42 millimeter, the current one, is super popular and trendy right now. But this one, the 40 millimeter, obviously long discontinued, is a more subtle choice maybe because the 42 is bigger and it's got the orange GMT hand, really pops. I think this size, guys, I'm loving the size of this watch these days and really makes me crave maybe another 5-digit Rolex. And I hate that thought because I'm not a fan of the bracelet, but the way this thing fits, I feel like it fits me, it's probably fits me the best. And the Milgauss, you know, is it's a chunky monkey. It's a chunky monkey. But I like it. But these two are quirky. Like you got your orange, your green, you know, on black. It's not even the Z blue, which people like. This is really the kind of funky, even fugly maybe Rolex, but I think it's really cool. So I think this is a great two-piece collection for the person that is into Rolex a little bit, but wants to chart their own way and do something a little unconventional with the brand. Wear these pieces. I mean, goodness gracious, this green crystal, I love it so much. And you got the polished center links. So to me, the Milgauss is of the two. If you kept these two, The Milgauss is your dressier piece because it doesn't have any other complications, and you got the polished center links. And when I'm dressed up, a few times I've worn this, and it really pops, and it does sing. I mean, people kind of will probably notice this more because it has so much going on. You've got your green crystal, you've got your polished center links, and it has some serious wrist presence. Because it's a little bit chunky, a little beefy. So I think this is a great two-piece set for the person is, I kind of think of it as creative, the creative, you know. This is like, you're pretty straight-laced, you know, I don't know if business person, but whatever, your sort of straight-laced person is going to choose the Royal Oak and the Submariner. And then I'll put that Submariner like that. Obviously can't lay the Royal Oak down, but you know, that's a pretty straight-laced choice there. Look, I want representative pieces from these two brands. Boom, I would go with that two-piece collection. Or here, I really think this is sort of like that's real personalities kind of come out a little bit more. This is a quirkier set. And then my third two-piece collection out of my own collection, I would say would be Speedy, which I have on its strap. And guys, I've been wearing this. Last time I wore this last week. I have worn this on the Omega strap. This is the first time I've worn the Omega NATO. I have a lot of cheap NATOs that I wear, and I actually was a little bit skittish about wearing this just because NATOs get dirty, guys. They get filthy, and when you wash them and clean them, they lose their luster. They fade, and so they don't look as crisp. And I had to sort of think about, why am I saving this? I'm not going to sell my Speedmaster. Why am I preserving this NATO strap that I'm never going to wear? And actually does feel, I kind of like this much better than my cheap NATOs, not just because of the branding that you have there. You have branding here on the clasp, but because it just does feel better quality. It doesn't fray. A lot of NATOs will fray here at the holes over time. And it just looks really, really, really sharp. And so I've been wearing this. So anyway, I have the bracelet, of course. This is my 1861 Hesalite Speedmaster. And I would put this as the third two-piece collection with my BLNR. So what does this part of the collection say, or this two-piece collection say about, I don't know, anyone? I think this is a little bit more, you've got your flash here, and you've got your complication rich collection here, I guess, because you've got your GMT function, you've got your date over here, and of course you've got a chronograph. So to me, this is the more complication rich. Maybe this is this the enthusiast? I don't know. I think these are all enthusiast pieces. But I think this pairs together really well. And honestly, if I had to downsize, or we're going to downsize for whatever reason and keep two pieces, I would cry my heart out. I'd be so depressed if I sold these watches, I think. But if I were going to do that, I think these are the two that I would keep. These are the two that I have the most sentimental value. No, I think for sure the Speedmaster is my most sentimental watch, and probably this is my second most sentimental watch because it was my first Rolex. And I think out of all of these watches, I wear this one the most. I have worn it the most. I certainly have the most pictures of me wearing this watch. And the Speedy was the first. And I just... You know, when I'm wearing the Speedmaster, it's like the hobby is so easy. It feels less intense. I'm not as obsessive. I'm not thinking about the next piece. It's just so, it's so nice and it's so comfortable to wear the Speedmaster. It decreases my obsessiveness and anxiety. And I had these other watches away at the bank, and I just feel like a balance wearing this. So I think I would keep these two. You still have a nice rugged piece here, but I love it with the Jubilee bracelet, so it's a little bit dressier and can get dirty. You know, this would be my two-piece set. Now, some of you would say, why not keep kind of your two best pieces, like the GMT and the Royal Oak? But I just don't think that, I mean, that could be a good collection because at least you have a white dial and you have a darker dial, and then you have a definitely dressier piece, and then still this. But I think that these two both have a little bit too much pizzazz, a little bit too much shine, and, you know, like, notice me. You better notice me. You see me? The watches are talking. You see me, damn it. I think these are a little bit too outspoken, or, you know, together, these are two watches that I feel like are a little bit too much. So I wouldn't want that as these two as my only options. So that's why I would pair it with this. And so these are my two-piece collections, guys. My 3 two-piece collections. I would keep these two. And I did have, before I sold my first Milgauss, I did have these as my only 2 Rolexes. And from that experience, I will say, because this was the first Rolex I bought, this was the second I bought, you know, the long saga about getting the Milgauss and rebuying it. But I will say that this didn't feel like Rolex-y enough. Like, it feels a little bit too unconventional having just these 2 pieces. And I felt like I wanted something like, I think these 2 and a sub, and the sub are boom. Great. You have a little bit of flair and weirdness, and then you have some really cool utility here, and then you have something that is really conventional. So to me, I would crave something else if I only had these 2, and it doesn't represent the brand well enough for me. So I think that this is the most balanced of the approaches, and, you know, come on, who doesn't love the Speedmaster? I really, really love the Speedmaster. So guys, that's my take on the perfect 2-piece collection that I have, or that I could compose. But your girl is not trying to downsize. I mean, this is a very tight universe here for me. And yeah, I like it. This gives me a lot of variety. And even though I'm jonesing for the next watch, probably like most of us, I'm going to be coasting here at this level for a while. But I will make a video on what's next. Even though I'm in a timeout, we can dream. One can always dream. All right, take care. Peace.